What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for a special day, a special review today, and with my main man, Jim Bob.
What's up, guys? Jim Bob in the house.
I was like, you gonna say something?
I didn't know if you were gonna take the lead.
Alright, so anyway, this, as you can see by the title, we're gonna talk about Star Wars today. Mainly because less than a month away, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, will be released nationwide. So excited for that. But I will probably say, 2 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't have said that. And the reason for that is, last week, Jim Bob had a genius idea. We both had a full day of absolutely nothing to do. Both of our fiancés were busy, so we had time to hang out. He brought the entire trilogy over from the 4 to 6 episode and the 1 to 3 episode, and we watched from 4 all the way to 3.
Good 12 and a half hours.
Good 12 and a half hours. And the reason why I said I wasn't be excited 2 weeks ago is because I've never seen a single second of Star Wars until last week. I know it's absolutely ridiculous being a movie buff as myself, or self-proclaimed, but I will say that I have never seen any of them, and I know it's absolutely terrible, but I grew up with it never being in my house. My parents didn't care for the movie. My brother never watched it, so I never watched it. And I never watched it on any kind of like premium channel, nothing. So I finally spent exactly 12 and a half hours last Saturday watching all those movies. So we're obviously going to start with the fourth one, which is Episode 4, A New Hope.
Do you want to give your overall take of it afterwards we go over it?
No, we can go overall take. We don't have to talk.
I
think I'm the only one that's never seen Star Wars, so we don't have to go through a synopsis. I think we can just say what we thought of it.
Okay, let's just do that. That works for me.
that? Okay.
All right, so should we start with Episode 4?
Yeah, because I'm the last person on Earth that has never seen it, so I'm not gonna patronize you
Even
guys.
my fiance, made her watch it earlier this year.
I'm not going to patronize
for the new movie.
I'm not going to patronize you people because I know for a fact that I'm the last one to not have seen it. So my opinion on the fourth one, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I thought it was the best one. 1977. It was the only Oscar-nominated movie out of all 6. Did not win in '77, but it was nominated for Best Picture. Didn't know that. I found that out through the grapevine in trivia. But that is my favorite one, and mainly because I just love the origin of like how it was back then. In 1977, like it wasn't real big on CGI yet or visual effects. It just was just very well done for like editing, and also very well done for the makeup. Very well done for all the people who built the sets and made the outfits.
It's that sci-fi movie that all those nerds that they would read about. Mm-hmm. Sorry if I say nerds. I don't mean to offend anyone because I consider myself a Star Wars nerd myself.
Perfectly okay.
It's the movie that finally gave them a visual of those sci-fi books that they've been reading about aliens and space and all that kinds of stuff, and it just was so revolutionary. And fortunately, don't have the original theatrical version. We have the crappy updated one by George Lucas.
That's the Blu-ray
with all his crap CGI that he wanted to throw in there. So it wasn't the theatrical version, and I pointed out every nuance that was in there to you.
And the big thing, like Jim Bob said, was the nuances, like stuff he said to me, he goes, hey, Jones, this is a pretty amazing scene. This is kind of a trademark. This is kind of a legacy in itself. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. It was really cool to see it for the first time. Because I never knew any of these references or things. Like, I didn't know anything. Like, I never knew, Princess Leia and Luke had a relationship in a different way. And I never knew any of that kind of stuff. So I love the fourth one the most out of all 6.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and I said that pretty much the whole time. I just thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's classic. You can't go wrong. So, started off well with Star Wars.
I had a good taste in my mouth. Great taste in my mouth. The fifth one, The Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5. I will say this, I love its consistency and continuity. I love that it always starts out like a galaxy far, far away or whatever, and then it always has like that little teleprompter thing that goes up.
Yeah,
vertical. I love that.
As a scroll, and then the first scene is always in space.
Do you think it's going to be like that for Episode 7?
If it's not, then J.J. Abrams is going to have a lot of people knocking at his door, because that's tradition he's messing with. So Episode 5, when we went into Empire Strikes Back, I told you this is the one that everybody loves. And it made the most money.
It made the most money?
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
It was my least favorite of 4 through 6. I liked it a lot. I liked it more than the 1 through 3, or 1 through 2, I should say. But I really didn't care for it as much as he did. A few parts I was a little bored with, but I did like the movie overall. I loved getting to see more Han Solo. I thought he was so sarcastic and funny, and I love him and Lando's exchange. When he wasn't sure.
He goes for the hug, and he's like,
he wasn't sure if Han Solo didn't know if he was going to get hit or not. He's like,
we had to rewind. We had to rewind that like 4 times because you were just losing it.
Because Lando looked at him like, I'm not sure what I'm going to offer you, but be ready. And Han Solo's like I was dying.
I'm not sure on that last comment I made about making the most money, but it's definitely the favorite of everyone.
I've heard Jedi's the favorite, but
that's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
But Empire Strikes Back, as you know, that's when it leaves the whole series in limbo, and I think that's why it's everyone's favorite, because that's where the Empire came back, and it was more of a dark toned evil movie, and that's why everyone liked it. And when Han Solo, Harrison Ford got frozen in the carbonite,
that was cool.
It was cool, and no one knew at that point if Harrison Ford was going to be back, because he wanted his character to die.
Right.
He wanted to be killed off, and he didn't know if he wanted to be a part of the rest of the last movie of the series.
Made a good decision to stay.
Yeah, I'll say. So
Empire Strikes Back was very happy with that decision.
Yeah.
I liked everything about the trilogy 4 through 6, but I thought 5 was okay. I was so enthralled with the 4th one, so I was just kind of like taking, my gas was out of the tank a little bit for the 5th one. But and then as soon as the 5th one was over, I was pumped because as he said, and also Steggs, he loves Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. I have to say that was my second favorite out of all 6 that I watched. I really loved the end of Episode 6. That was just great. I loved the whole Darth Vader, how he changed his mindset a little bit. I loved that whole sequence. I thought that was amazing. I love how the Emperor was so evil and so badass and stuff, and I loved everything about that. And if you see the first 3 movies, you really understand more of the 4th, 5th, and 6th one. But I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted to start it from 1977.
Yeah, the original way.
Right. I really thought there was a really cool part with Jabba the Hutt and Return of the Jedi, mainly with how they had to survive. They had that creepy thing that they were dropped in. What was the part where they dropped way down on the ground?
Yeah,
and that creature came out.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting. I know the name, and it's slipping my mind of what it is that comes out. And you're slowly digested over 1,000 years.
Yeah,
and when I watch this video,
scary.
when I watch this video back, and the name's going to come to me. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Weird names.
That whole opening fight scene when I was younger, and I went and saw that when they re-released it in theaters in '97. When Luke's getting ready to have to walk off the plank, and then R2 shoots his lightsaber out in that whole battle. That was one of my favorite parts as a kid, because I was like, "This is awesome! This is one of the best action scenes to kick off a movie." I thought.
Right. And then whenever they got attacked by that flower thing, that thing that was going to pull them in, when they were outside of Jabba the Hutt's place, and Lando was saved by Han Solo. He shot the vine thing. I thought that was really cool. But I was intense for 1983. You're like, holy shit! That's pretty incredible. So I really did like the 6th one. I thought Return of the Jedi was great, and it was cool to see the introduction of the Ewoks. I really liked them too. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was one of those characters that was a marketing ploy for George Lucas. He made an Ewok special after school special and a Ewok cartoon movie. So I mean, and everyone was just like, "What are these things?" when they first came out.
The same thing he did with Episode 1, which we'll talk about. The thing that I hate the most in the whole world.
I'm sure every single person watching this agrees with us.
Right. But the 6th one, I really liked how after that big battle scene with the stormtroopers at with the Ewoks, Chewbacca came in that machine and
the Imperial Walker.
Yeah.
So the original trilogy, Episode 4, New Hope, Episode 5, Empire, and Episode 6, Jedi. Rank them from 1st to 3rd, and
4, 6, 5.
4, 6, 5.
That's me.
I flip it around a little bit. I go 6, 4, 5. Because
I think it's almost a flip of a coin for 6 and 4.
I mean, I love the original.
I love original anything,
but
so that's why
I'm one of those people who likes to see an ending, like an overall ending, and that's what you got with Return of the Jedi. Now, we'll talk about this later. Force Awakens. That's of course. Everything did not end. and we'll talk about what we think the plot is for that.
Right.
But let's go into the prequels and get through that catastrophe.
Quick question, though. I was just wondering, is the fourth movie, when that came out, it was not called Episode 4?
It was not. It was called Star Wars.
And it wasn't called New Hope?
Nope.
When was it called Episode 4 in A New Hope?
I don't know if it was in the re-release or they rechanged it once Episode 5 Empire came out. I'm not sure.
I'd love to know.
It was one of those two.
I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, so the prequels started in, 1999?
1999 with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
And then 2002 was Attack of the Clone Wars.
Episode 2.
And 2005 was Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, Episode 3.
And the Sith was the opposite of the Jedi.
Yes.
I remember being very young, like 11 or 12 years old when Phantom Menace came out, or 13.
Hey, you were a little older. Like I think I was probably 11 or 12.
Oh, okay.
So you were probably a little bit older.
Well, I was 99, so I was 13 or 14. And I remember, I didn't really know the big deal about it because I never watched any Star Wars because I wasn't alive for any of them. So like when someone said about Jake Lloyd, who was from Jingle All the Way, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's playing Anakin Skywalker." Everyone's bitching. I'm like, "Well, who the hell's Anakin Skywalker?" I didn't know.
People were pissed that they were starting Darth, such an iconic evil character, as a child.
Because of course he's gonna be nice and sweet. Yeah.
I mean, he had his little subtleties of how pissy little kid he was.
Yep.
But I mean,
and he created C-3PO.
He did. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Some people didn't like that.
I liked it.
I liked
it.
I mean, it was okay to get an origin story for C-3PO.
Right, but I think that kind of showed that he was creative and also had a soft side and cared about helping others because it showed in Episode 6. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that reference. I like that George Lucas made that very clear that he wasn't a complete prick all the time.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, and I love C-3PO. I love C-3PO.
Now, let's talk about what we didn't like in this movie, and I'm sure it's what everyone didn't like.
Yeah. It's called Jar Jar Binks. What a weird, creepy character. I didn't like him. Too silly.
I mean, he progressively went down as the prequels went on.
Silly.
And that was kind of like George Lucas's comical relief attempt or get more marketing for kids.
It wasn't my thing at all.
He was annoying. He was awful. And George Lucas heard what everyone said, and that's why he took down the amount of time that Jar Jar was there.
Yeah. And then he appeared a few times in the other movies, but who cares?
I mean, he didn't have one speaking role in Episode 3, but Episode 2, he's the one that suggests to the Senate to elect Chancellor Palpatine, give him full power. And there's all these theories going around on the internet that Jar Jar Binks is actually Darth Plagueis, which is the main bad guy who Palpatine talks about in Episode 3. But I don't believe any of that. It's just Jar Jar's awful. Episode 1 overall, I mean, okay. I mean, Darth Maul is the only...
I loved Ray Park.
Yeah.
Loved the character.
And there wasn't enough of him. And his fight scene with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, God. That was the best part of that movie.
The double lightsaber?
Yeah.
That was cool.
That came out, people lost their minds.
Yeah, I lost my mind. And that was last week.
So, I mean, overall, Phantom Menace is not a good movie, but it has, we like the origins of some of the favorite characters like R2 and C-3PO.
Yes, we do. The R2-D2 is the only one that stayed put on that ship when everyone else was flying off.
Yeah.
He was the strong one. Only strong survived. I like that.
I mean, it was heavily CGI. It was big for its time.
Yeah.
We hated Jar Jar.
Love Darth Maul.
We love Darth Maul. And we love Ewan McGregor is one of the big shining spots of the entire prequel trilogy as Obi-Wan. And as the movies go on, there's more of a likeness between him and Alec Guinness.
Right, I felt like he tried more to be like Alec Guinness.
Which they did. He watched video, he practiced.
And
they put prosthetics on his face to make him look like it more. I mean, the part in Episode 3 when he says to General Grievous, "Hello there."
Yeah.
He said he copied and mimicked that of Alec Guinness of saying "Hello there" to R2-D2 in Episode 4. So, Episode 1, definitely not everyone's favorite. It's not the worst, in my opinion, of the prequels. Right. Now, let's move to that one, which is Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which I hated.
Yeah, that was my least favorite. That was my least favorite of the whole thing, all 6 episodes. I thought Christopher Lee was awesome.
Everyone loved him.
Yeah, he was wonderful. I liked him as Darth...
He was Darth Tyrannus, but Count Dooku is what they call him.
Right. I really liked him. I thought he was badass. And wasn't that the introduction to Mace Windu, or is that the first?
No, Mace Windu was in the first one a little
right.
bit, but the second one is where he actually did more than just sit at the Jedi Council. He actually fought and then killed Jango Fett. Episode 2 takes place 10 years after Episode 1, and it's mainly the part that really kills it is the awful acting by Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, as a good guy. I liked him as a villain, not as a good guy.
And it's the whole love story, which I know you have to go into a little bit,
but it's cheap. It's cheesy.
But when he makes stupid lines like, "I don't like sand very much. It's so coarse. Like, I like other stuff that's soft and smooth." And he touches Natalie Portman. Like,
it's like, dude, is that you picking her up or is that you coming out? Like, which one? Which one?
That's a good question.
Which one?
It's a cheesy movie. I mean, you find out about the clone army, which eventually becomes the Stormtrooper army because they all start out as clones of Jango Fett. We're introduced to Kid Boba Fett and Jango Fett. His father's killed by Mace Windu. I mean, and it's just... It just feels like a filler story. Like there's not much like you didn't really
feel like it was a part 1 of a part 2 kind of a thing.
Exactly,
like a Mockingjay part 1, part 2.
Exactly,
kind of thing. Like, it's like let's just see this shit so we can get the next one.
I mean, it ends.
It's a moneymaker, money pit.
It ends kind of not dark as Empire Strikes Back, but it still is dark because you know everyone knew at that point that Palpatine was the Emperor.
I love that character.
Or Sidious, you know, like and everyone, you know, Count Dooku got away, and so it just led us into the third one, which Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, easily the best one.
Best
of the
one out of the
prequels.
most recent ones, absolutely, from 1, 2, and 3. I love Revenge of the Sith because you finally started to stop hating Christensen because he started going total villain. When he was scary, and he had longer hair, and he was scary, man. I thought he was
when he was a bad guy. He played evil pretty damn well. I mean,
very well.
I mean, you work with the bad scripts and dialogue that they give you, and he got a lot of flack for his performance. But
he could have done a little better.
He could have done a little better, but honestly, he looks evil as shit in Episode 3.
Right.
I mean, and he's scary. Episode 3 is where we finally, you know, what make Anakin Skywalker turn to the dark side. And a lot of people don't like how there's just like this really quick shift with like, oh, I'm bad now.
Right, I liked it though. I
mean,
it because he was so influenced. That's why.
And I get it led up from you know he had that dream about his mom in Episode 2, and she ended up dying, and then he killed all the Sand people, and that was like his first big like evil thing. And then he's having this dream about his wife, you know, Padme, Natalie Portman, dying, and he will do anything. He'll do anything to not let that happen. And so the Emperor, knowing that he's vulnerable with that, you know, tells him that he can keep people from dying.
And I thought it was cool to see the origin of like how he and Padme got together because that was the parents of Luke and
Leia.
Yeah, that's so cool to me. I thought that was really neat. So yeah, I thought the third one was the best one because I'm just new to this, but it even gave me a little bit of a chill to see like him dress up as Darth Vader again and put on the suit and he was. Jim Bob was telling me that the whole set was just like so quiet because they're just like, holy shit! Like
when he came out in that Darth Vader suit, and I mean they got James Earl Jones to do the voice really quickly for like that 30-second, and where he said no, which was stupid by the way.
Yeah, it was very contrived.
But I mean it set it up for what's going to happen with. The rest of Star Wars leading into A New Hope. You see the Death Stars being built, the Emperor's one badass motherfucker, and Darth Vader. He thinks his wife's dead, which she is. He didn't think that the kids made it. So or the kid, he didn't know it was twins. Ooh. That's why they split them up so they weren't.
And the twins.
But
I'm excited for the seventh one coming up because it's 30 years later from. Episode 6,
so real quick before we get into that,
trilogy-wise,
I'm
going to probably say what you're going to say. I'm going to go 3-1-2.
That's exactly what I'm going to say.
Favorite to least favorite. Yeah.
I mean, I remember you saying hands down after watching it. You're like, this is a good movie. You're like for episode 3, and I mean that's the one I actually went and saw a couple times in theaters because I liked it the best. They could have developed more of a brotherly bond
But
between.
It was great though.
Between Obi-Wan and Anakin, like he said, "You're like my brother." Well, we don't, as an audience, we really don't get to see that in the movie itself. Now I know they have the Clone Wars series where did that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 3, 1, 2.
Yeah.
All right, Episode 7, Force Awakens. Actually, yesterday marked 1 year since the very first teaser trailer came out, which was November 28th. So I've been following a lot of different, Star Wars YouTubers, watching their insider videos, trailer breakdowns.
Love that too.
MakingStarWars.net, a lot of different things, and just trying to. I don't want it to be spoiled, and it hasn't, which is hands down awesome by J.J. Abrams and Disney and all them for keeping that secret so far. But as you said, 30 years after Return of the Jedi, and what I liked so much about Jedi was having a complete finish, and now Force Awakens and Disney owning this and having a new movie is showing us that nothing really changed. The Empire is now the First Order, the Rebels are now the Resistance. And, some of our old characters are back, which is great. We got new characters. Got Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker has not been seen yet, but they've been said they've been said he's in the movie. What way do we know? We don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be right at the end of the movie because they're going to be searching for him the whole time. Harrison Ford, we know, is going to be main character in it, returning as Han Solo. Will he die is the question. People are saying there's going to be a main character that dies, and he's one.
Luke.
It's one of them. Luke could be one, but I don't think so because he already talked about growing out his Star Wars beard already. Because he has a beard in. Wow. Everyone's saying he's kind of in seclusion, like. Well,
he shouldn't give any spoilers away doing that.
Yeah, it's not too much of a spoiler. They went back and filmed some other scenes that people thought were for the end of 7 and beginning of 8. Carrie Fisher's back as Princess Leia, as we know, and she looks great in it.
Metal Bikini, Return of the Jedi.
That's Slave Leia, which Disney is getting rid of any toys or any remnants of Slave Leia because of the word slave and how it demeans women as well. Yeah, I know. Let's not get into that now. But so those original ones are back. So is Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels is C-3PO with a red arm.
Did Peter Mayhew walk?
Yeah, I mean, he walked during filming. That's all I know.
Oh, God.
C-3PO with his red arm, which apparently we'll find out, and R2-D2. Kenny Baker is back. Mm-hmm. New characters, which I'm sure a lot of people know, but we're just going through the rundown. Mm-hmm. Daisy Ridley is playing Rey, which she's rumored to be related to a Skywalker, either Luke's daughter or Han and Leia's daughter. You have John Boyega, who's Finn, Black Stormtrooper, which caused an outrage, which I didn't have any problem with.
What's wrong with it? I don't see
It's freaking 2015. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Get over it.
He's British also.
Yeah. He's one of those people that's rumored to be dying.
Wow.
Because in that trailer, everyone's...
Grand Moff Tarkin in Episode 4, he died.
Yes, and that could be another character. Domhnall Gleeson as General Hux. He could be like Grand Moff Tarkin, as M. Jones said here. And he could die. But John Boyega is Finn because he has the lightsaber, which everyone says is Luke's, which was Anakin's, that Luke lost when his father, Darth Vader, cut off his hand in Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. So apparently that's like a relic that has been searched for. So there's a chance that John Boyega could die because we've seen in the trailers that he fights another new character, which is our bad guy, Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver.
Looks great.
People are saying Adam Driver may be the one who dies as Kylo Ren.
Well, yeah, because like Ray Park, he died Episode 1. Like, he's a villain. Villains are supposed to be killed.
And the main villain, played by Andy Serkis, Supreme Leader Snoke, we know is going to be a very powerful person. I think he's going to be the main villain, and that's why Kylo Ren could be someone that dies as well.
Well, that's why I think Adam Driver's character will die. Right. That's what I would guess.
I mean, there's a chance that no one could die. A main character may not die, but we've had a main character die in every Star Wars film.
Stop that.
Every single Star Wars film, we've had a main character die. So, we don't know who's going to die, but the story is what everyone is speculating is that, who Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, as I said, he could also be a Skywalker. People are talking about it could be Han Solo and Princess Leia's son. So he could be cousins or brother to Rey. But Rey is kind of our main character. She's a scavenger.
I kind of like her.
Yeah, Daisy Ridley. This is her first like big time thing. First anything.
Here's your chance.
Yeah,
take it and run with it.
So I mean,
sprint.
She's joined by Finn, John Boyega, the Black Stormtrooper, and Oscar Isaac is Poe Dameron. He's kind of going to be
good actor.
He's going to be like the pilot, kind of like the Han
good
Solo,
actor.
I believe.
Very good
great actor. And
he play a bad guy too very well.
Yeah, we haven't really been introduced too much to him. His character, we just know that he's a pilot for the Resistance. We think he's working with. She's not Princess Leia anymore. She's General Leia. Apparently, she's called Princess once in the movie, and apparently, like, everyone kind of laughs, and she gets pissed. Apparently, it's going to be Han Solo. Probably calls her Princess. We're assuming they're not together anymore. Because if you've seen them embrace in the trailer, they haven't been together for a while. So, I mean, we're kind of.
What'd you do, Han?
Yeah, right.
Who is she?
So we were kind of just rambling, but I mean, we're both very excited. I have tickets for the day after it opens, and I know I'm probably going to go a couple more times, and that next time I'm definitely going with him.
Yes. Yeah, my fiance is begging me to take her. I said, we're going to go with Jim Bob, too.
That's right. So, I mean, I'm really excited for it. And then Disney's, of course, got anthology films like Rogue One, which comes out next year, which is, it's not part of the saga, but it's like a spin-off, but still owned by Disney. And Rogue One's going to be about how the Rebels stole the plans for the Death Star. Ooh. It's going to be kind of cool, kind of like a war movie. And then we'll have Episode 8, Untitled still. And then after that, we're going to have a Han Solo anthology film, which looking forward to that, seeing where Han came from and how he met up with Chewie. And then we'll have Episode 9, and then the rumor is we're going to have an Obi-Wan anthology film.
Which I'd love to see.
Which, what he was doing from Episode 3 to Episode 4 while he was watching Luke on Tatooine. He wasn't just sitting there and playing with himself. I mean, he was probably getting into some stuff. Disney's talked about...
Don't you dare be playing with yourself.
Disney has talked about releasing a new Star Wars movie every year.
Love.
Which, I mean, it's just like Marvel. Marvel's releasing like 2 every year.
Because they make money, brother. It's all business, man.
And this is Episode 7, Force Awakens, is going to be one of the biggest movies of all time. It's definitely one of the most anticipated. It has over $50 million.
They're going to make a lot of money.
In advanced ticket sales.
It's going to make a lot of money.
I'm definitely going to be giving them money just by seeing all the movies. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for this one.
Right.
I just want to know what happened.
Right.
And characters like Harrison Ford, who's so excited to be back when he wanted to be out and didn't want to be associated with it. He's been doing press for this, and if this has been a movie that he doesn't like, he says, I liked working with this person. He's like, I think you're all really going to enjoy this.
Right.
And it has to make you feel good because he's very well respected and great actor, and he knows that it's a good movie. So, I mean, we're excited. There's other characters, like say Andy Serkis, Supreme Leader Snoke, who could be Darth Plagueis, who could be the bad guy who was Palpatine's master, who Palpatine thought he killed, and
which could be pretty badass.
Yeah,
Andy Serkis is perfect for that because he's terrifying.
Yeah, and he's
great. He's great as that little insect you can't get off your neck. He's just that kind of guy.
And he's a motion capture character.
Oh,
which he's very well known for as Gollum and Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
That's right.
And we haven't seen what Plagueis. He's not Plagueis. Sorry, Snoke. I think he's Plagueis. I've been reading and watching so many theories. I think he's Darth Plagueis. So that could be intense. And we also have Lupita Nyong'o, who is Maz Kanata, who's known as a 1,000-year-old pirate. That's also motion capture as well. And she's the voice that you hear in those trailers. Like, I've seen those eyes.
I've seen those eyes.
The Force, it's calling to you. That's her.
Yeah.
So I think she'll have kind of like a Yoda-like role. Like, she seems very wise and can tell them what's going on.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you could pick one thing out of all 6 movies, what was your very favorite part? And you have to pick from just one movie. Your very favorite sequence, your favorite scene, your favorite line. What would it be? Don't think too hard.
I think my favorite part, Return of the Jedi, finally getting to see what Vader's face looks like.
Okay.
And what about you?
My favorite part was in 4.
4.
Very end when they killed the Death Star.
When they
got that little hole that they had to shoot in. I thought that was so cool. That's a hell of a shot.
Especially when Luke's not using his computer and Obi-Wan's telling him, use the Force, Luke.
Yeah, like that was like, whoa. That's when I felt like I got a little chill. Like, oh, that's sweet. Because that was a hell of a shot he made. So that was my favorite part of the whole trilogy.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't tell you this part, but my favorite part of seeing Vader's face, that wasn't the actor who played Darth Vader's body.
David Prowse?
Yeah, David Prowse. He and Lucas did not get along, but he still worked and did all of them. George Lucas filmed that scene with a different guy.
Unbeknownst?
I forget, like without David Prowse knowing.
That's what I'm saying, unbeknownst.
Yeah,
wow.
And so, sorry, I don't know big words.
Apologies.
And so he made sure that like that set was blocked off so he couldn't get there and know that they were filming it. Like they filmed it in secret.
That's how you start enemies.
Yeah, and so him and George Lucas didn't get along. So I mean, it's a shame that he didn't get to have his own face. But I mean, it was just like when you look at it, you're like, well, why is his face white? And then you find out in episode 3 because he got burnt to shit.
Right. I really enjoyed it, and I did not expect to like it as much. But I loved it, and I'm definitely a fan, and I look forward to seeing 7 with Jim Bob and my fiance, and I look forward to seeing the ones after. But so that's all I have. Unless there's anything else you got to say?
I mean, I'm just glad I was able to get you involved in this.
Now I know the references. I didn't know any of this stuff.
So much other stuff referenced in Star Wars that now it makes sense.
Yeah, like the part in like Dumb and Dumber. He's like, tractor beam sucked me right in. I'm like, what's that mean? And I know what a tractor beam is now. It's a Death Star. So like, it's so cool to like see that in the first one. I'm like, did you say tractor beam sucked it in? Like Dumb and Dumber? He's like, yes, Jim.
And I'm sure you probably get Spaceballs references more. And
Barf, I like Barf.
The Family Guy, like Blue Harvest, and when
Blue
they
Harvest,
make fun of it. I mean,
it's a trap on the Jedi, and then something, whatever was the Empire Strikes Back. But I loved everything about it. But I really look forward to seeing them, and you'll get a definite review from both of us in
absolutely
in a month.
December 19th is when I'm seeing it. I guarantee you. We won't see it any later than probably the 21st.
We have to see it together, or if not, friendship's off.
That's right. So I'm seeing it 19th. I'm actually going with my mother. She's the one who took me to the original ones when they re-released them in '97 when I was like 9 years old. And I said then, Mom, I'm going to go see these movies with you no matter how old I am. When the prequels came out.
So dirty.
I was a junior. Wow, that's my mother you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
I was a junior in high school when we saw Revenge of the Sith together, if I could talk.
Sith
Lewis. And so I'm a 27-year-old man, almost 28, going to the movies with my mother, and I couldn't be more happy because it's a tradition that we've had.
Right.
And so I always go see it with her first. And I'll definitely probably see it at least 2-3 more times in theaters afterwards.
Yep.
Maybe even in my IMAX. I think that may be something we may need to consider going to after we've seen it in regular theaters, because it was filmed with special IMAX cameras, so there's more to see. But I'm glad you enjoyed the original 6.
I thank you for the push.
And we will definitely be back with that Force Awakens.
Absolutely.
In depth.
Wow.
In depth.
Well, till then.
With spoilers.
Till then, take it easy and okay, bye.
Okay, bye.